Rabotai, we're starting our second shiur of OTZROT Chaim. We have new books, 23rd of Cheshvan. We're gonna do a small recap. 23rd of Cheshvan, yeah. We're gonna do a small recap of what we learned last week, and I want to say I'm happy to see everyone here. And I just want to tell you guys that our shiurs should be לרפואת שלמה. אליה יונתן יוכב דיאנה וגם ביתי ציוויזיה בת יוכב דיאנה. And may our shiur also be להצלחת all the ravakim. Rabbi Chai ben Reuben Ve'Leah, Ariel, Miriam, all the ravakim. May they find their soulmates very soon.
All the attendees as well.
Yeah. May they be able to go into the yeshiva of Rav Huna. Bless you. We were last week talking about, we were starting at the beginning. Now, I want to give you guys a small introduction. Like, I always say this, that in the secrets of the Torah, when we're learning the secrets, and you guys really have a big zechut. You know, you guys have a big zechut to actually come and learn, especially in the Chabura. And as I said last week, this limud is alive. And I've seen lots of people come to the shiur, and I've seen people disappear. Like suddenly the limud is like, listen, bye-bye, Charlie. It's a very interesting thing. I mean, you're learning, you're trying to get as close to Hashem as possible. And the Mekubalim, you know, I usually don't like to use the word Kabbalah because it's been taken out of proportion in our generation. But since we're in the shiur, we could say the Mekubalim, with Berosham Ari HaKadosh, and Rav Chaim Vital, his student, the study of Kabbalah, the reason why it's called Kabbalah is because it comes from the word lekabel. Lekabel means to accept. I mean, we think that the greatest form of life is to give. So why do we call this limud Kabbalah, to accept? Because actually the person who's really giving is the receiver. You understand? So you guys are the receivers over here, but you guys are really the givers. Because you guys are giving with me. You guys are helping me go over my limud and making me sharper. Now, of course, I don't have all the answers. Okay? But you should know one thing, that in this limud, the Chazon Ish said, this is the way I heard it from my Rebbe, that the Chazon Ish said, even in regular parts of the Torah, like the Gemara, it's not always healthy to know everything. Even in Gemara, it's sometimes healthy not to know everything. Kal v'chomer, when you learn this, it's healthy not to know everything. If you don't understand something, you go to the next thing, okay? Go to the next thing. Now, especially in the first page of OTZROT Chaim, the first page, most Mefarshim commentaries skip this page. They don't want to even come close to commentating on it. Why? Commenting on it. Because it's just so high. Now, of course, there are many tzaddikim, chasidim, kedoshim, chokrim, that they do want to talk about the beginning, the first thing that happened. But we don't want to, it could be harmful to our emunah. You understand? It could be harmful to our, because this thing is going to take your vision of what Torah is, of what doing mitzvot is, and turn it 180 degrees. You're going to be like, this is what Hashem wants from me. To always walk and think and be totally conscious of HaKadosh Baruch Hu every second of my life. You have to always be conscious of Hashem. That's why once they asked Rav Ben Zion about Shaul, and he asked him, what's the hardest mitzvah for you to do? And he said, not to think of Torah while I'm in the bathroom. Because for tzaddikim, they're always conscious of God. It's impossible to be disconnected from Him. You understand? Because at the end of the day, everything is Hashem, but it's hard to understand that. We're not trying to understand that. We're just trying to understand what is the way God created this world. Why did He create it the way He did? Why He created this world, you're never going to know that. It's Ratzon HaPashut. What's Ratzon HaPashut? It doesn't come from a reason. The reason why He created this world, it doesn't come for a reason. There was no reason. It was a simple reason. What's a simple reason? Because He's just good. And somebody that's good, something that's good, just wants to give. That's it. End of story. Okay? So we're going to start from the beginning. Okay? And the first chapter is called Drush Adam Kadmon. Usually we don't say his name, we just call it Ak. It's a very high world. Okay? And we don't like to say the actual name because what are you doing when you're reading these words? When you're reading them, you're actually moving them. You're moving them in Shamayim. Okay? So you have to be careful not to move it the wrong way. Okay? That's the... I should go to the... Okay, slightly. Therefore, you should be very careful when you're saying these Shemot I once was in a bar mitzvah, and they were putting out Zohar pamphlets on the tables. Zohar pamphlets, and on one of the pamphlets, the name of one angel, Matat. I can't say his name, and the guy opened the book and he started reading the angels' names. He's like, I don't want to say Matat, and he was talking like a little bit busy. He didn't know what it was, and I'm like, are you crazy? Don't say it. What do you do? You have to. These things. It's like, be careful. Know its worth. You can't just say it. Okay? So therefore, one has to be very careful when learning this limud. I just want to make a small disclaimer, a small warning before I start this shiur. I forgot to say it in the last shiur. It's good before you come to this Wednesday night shiur to dip inside the mikveh. Okay? As a general rule, it's good to dip in the mikveh before you learn this limud. Now, in the morning, yeah. Okay? So it's good to do that. Okay? As a, the Rav Eliyahu Mani, in one of his books, he wrote that when he used to teach his students for the first time, he wouldn't allow them to learn with him until he used to take them to the mikveh and they used to dip set. But that was Rav Eliyahu Mani. We're not Rav Eliyahu Mani. We're L'Shem. Okay? We'll take it easy. Okay? Now let's start from the beginning. No. Ki tchilat hakol, in the beginning. Hayakol mitziyut or pashut v'nikra ein sof. Everything was or pashut. What does or pashut mean? What does that mean? Simple. There was no reason for it. It's just good. It's just oraches. It's just goodness. There is no beginning to it, and there is no end to it. The closest thing you could think that comes closest, the closest mashal is water. Water just goes. It just flows. It's as if there's no end to it and no beginning to it. Understand? Of course, I'm not actually comparing it. I'm just saying the closest thing that in your mind you could think that comes closest or pashut is water. Because water has this cool calmness, oneness to it. Okay? Even light. The light, it sets. The sun sets. So there's a beginning and an end. Water is always there. If you let water flow, it'll just flow forever. Alright? The more water, just keep on flowing. Right? So the same thing is Ora Pashut is just a simple light. If you could even call it Or. V'nikra Ein Sof, we call it the Ein Sof. The Ein Sof is Hashem. He has no name. He's just the infinite. God has no purpose. It will be blasphemy to say that Hashem has a purpose, because anything that has a purpose has an end. God has no end and no beginning. He was always there. It's hard to understand such a thing. We're not trying to. Okay? We're not trying to understand that point. Of course, there could be some learnings that do explain that, but it's not for us right now. We're just going to continue. Lo haya sham shum chalal. There was no empty void. There was no black void. V'shum avir panui. There was no air. What's air, guys? Air in Hebrew is Aleph, Vav, Yud, and Resh. Air, if you take out the Yud, what do you get? Or. Really, the air is really light. It's light that became materialistic. That turned into Avir. Okay? And if you guys will allow me, I'm going to explain to you how this Avir was created. Okay? Everything was Or Ein Sof. When God decided in his simple reasoning. Why does he call it a simple reasoning? Because something that's simple doesn't have a purpose that we can fathom. Okay? God just wanted to do it. Why? We'll never know. Maybe in Olam Haba we will. To create the creations, l'siba nodat. What's l'siba nodat? For that known reason. And you see there's a comma in your book to teach you that known reason, you'll never know. At least in this lifetime. And it's to be called merciful, forgiving, v'kayotze. Because if there's nobody in the world that will accept his mercy, how will be called merciful? And so too in all the names of God. If there's nobody to call him Amonai, how will anybody know that he's the master? When does that take place? When does that whole thing take place? After that Ratzon HaPashut. What does that mean? There are two stages over here. If you're very keen, you're gonna see it in his Lashon. What are the two stages? Ratzon HaPashut. Ratzon HaPashut. You're never going to know that reason. Why God really started everything, you're never going to know. But once he decided to do it, and all of the creations became one in him. Like you want to build a house, in your mind, what happens? You already see the house. Once God decided to create everything, all 6,000 years of creation was bam. It was already created. It was in potential energy. And then, if he wouldn't have created the world, there would have been nobody to call him Rahum, Chanun. So the creation had to be born. Only once he decided to create it. But before that moment, he didn't have to create anything. Okay? That's how deep we're going to go into this. We're not going to go deeper into that. So what did he do to create everything? What did he do? Void. He created a black void. That's called tzimtzem atzmo. He constricted himself. Be'emtza ha'or shelo, in the middle of his light. Be'nikudat ha'merkaz, in the midpoint. Ha'emtza'it shebo. What does that mean? God created a black void. Now there's two ways to understand this. Either he started in the middle and it kept on getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger till he said, enough! Die. That's the name Shakai. That's the name on your doorstep, on your door. Shindalu, Shakai. That's where this name first came into fruition. He was constricting from the midpoint, getting bigger, 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 bigger. And then he said, what? Stop. Die. Sha'amar l'olamo die. Shakai. That's the name in our mezuzah. Understand that? Did you get that? Mm-hmm. Okay? So the name Shin, Dalet, and Yud said to the Igulim, these are called the Igulim, to stop. Don't create a bigger black void. Okay? And where did it all start? Emtza'it, right? So I saw a beautiful pshat. This midpoint, what is that midpoint? If you take the word Emtza'it, you're going to get 611. If you take our Torah, you're going to get 611. The one place that you're going to find Hashem in His greatest revealment is in His midpoint, in the midpoint of the void, where it all started. And what is that? The Torah. That's the Rebbe Mikomarna. That's the Zohar Chai. It's a beautiful pshat, no? I really liked when I saw it. I'm going to share it with you guys. I usually don't say these kind of pshats, but it was beautiful. Okay? ושם צמצם עצמו אל הצדידים והסביבות ונשאר חלל בינתיים. So this is a void. Okay? This is emptiness. All inside, it's emptiness. It's all empty inside this circle, inside this void. It's all empty. What does that mean? It's empty. Does that mean that it's a black void? There's nothing in there? Or does it mean that he's there but you just can't see him?
There you can't see him.
So there's two pshats. One pshat is the Shomer Emunim HaKadmon. That's the Rabbi Yosef Irgas. It's a known thing, a masoret between the Mekubalim. Whoever learns Shomer Emunim HaKadmon before he learns Kabbalah, he's going to have immense success and the limud will not throw him out. It's a known segula. Okay? Shomer Emunim HaKadmon. It's a small book. It's written like in a question and answer form. Like somebody's asking a question in Emuna and he answers you. Question answer. It's called Shomer Emunim HaKadmon. There's two. Not Shomer Emunim Mislonim. Shomer Emunim HaKadmon. Okay? So, but there's another pshat of Rabbi Emmanuel Chayriki, the Bala Mishnat Chasidim. He said that it's not that God is there, but He's just not showing Himself. God really isn't there. And the Ben Ish Chai does not like that pshat. The Dat Tvuna immensely doesn't like that pshat because really everything is Hashem. Okay? So we're going to go with the pshat that God is, and the Ramchal also agrees with this pshat, that the fact is that right now, where we are, what we're breathing is really all Hashem. We are inside of Hashem, right? It's just that you can't perceive Him. And our job is to reveal Him. It's a crazy job to do. And if you're not conscious of God every second of your life, you're never going to do that. What's an Avera? An Avera is, I just created another blockage, another klipa. Now it's harder for me to see Him. I make another, and for a man it's very hard because for a man, we're supposed to be learning Torah when we're not doing anything. So imagine how many blockages you're creating for yourself every time you're not learning Torah. Now, obviously there are some that are huge blockages. What is that? For example, Chilul Shabbat is karet. What does that mean, karet? Karet means you just got totally disconnected with Hashem for a minute.
A minute?
You understand? You got disconnected. Now, Hashem will accept you back if you do teshuvah. But you got disconnected. That's a huge void. That's a huge disconnection. Now to see Hashem again, you have to do major teshuvah, right? There's other averot, that's what skila, like chilul Shabbat. If a person does chilul Shabbat, it's like he's a kofer. Why? He makes a total black void into the world. If a person is chas shalom like Dora Mabul, he makes a huge black void. You understand? There are some averot that make smaller black voids, right? I don't want to get into it, right? Like some mitzvot you could make up, right? You miss shacharit, you have tashlumin and mincha. You don't make up the shacharit that you missed, but there is some kind of correction, you know? You may said God's name in vain. Oh, you could say Baruch Hashem Kol Malchuto Navayit. There are some things that Hashem gave us certain ways to get out of it. But some things Hashem said, God forbid, Chilul Shabbat, skila, take it easy, it's a big, you totally covered Hashem. Then you're going to go to the rabbi, how come this thing happened to me in your life? What is he, Arya Kadosh? He's going to tell you what you did in your life, how many teshuvot you have to do, how many blockages you did to yourself. He's not going to tell you that. Forget about it, they don't exist. Okay, so, weiter. Okay? V'nishar chalal ben time. And he created, inside is a black void. Right? And the way he said, Machloket the Shomer Emunim HaKadmon, with Rabbi Emanuel Chayriki, whether is he really there and you can't see him? He's just covering himself? Or is he playing hide and seek with you? Or he's really not there? Are we going to go with the pshat of the Shomer Emunim? Okay? Next page. Daf bet. This was the first tzimtzum. This was the first constriction. This is the constriction that started everything. What's stopping now outside this void is what? It's God. God, or the Ein Sof is there, right? What's stopping the Ein Sof from going back inside? We call it the Butzina de Kardunita, the Patisha Chazak, the first Koach Hadin that God created, the judgment of all judgments. That's the Butzina de Kardunita. That's stopping, the din is stopping, the din is stopping the chesed to come back in. Okay? How is something that was created by Hashem stopping Hashem himself? That's a very big question that all the Mekubalim ask, and it's one of those questions like, why did God create it? God created something that could stop it from being revealed. It's amazing. How could you stop something that's infinite? Only the infinite could create something like that. And it's a very tough question, and of course, there might be answers. We're not going to get into it. Okay? We're trying to learn this page a little faster because we don't want to get to the question of what's above this, what's below this, which is Gemara Masechet Chagiga. Okay? Did you get that? Look inside.
What's Tzimtzum again?
Tzimtzum is the constriction. God's constricting his light and creating a void. This was the first constriction. Now, this is a rule in life. Whenever you want to create something, first you gotta constrict yourself. Exactly. Before you could get something in life, first you have to go through suffering. You gotta go through the blackness first. You understand? It depends how many things you created. Okay? Now, it's very important to understand, all I'm teaching you guys is just a parable. There is no really circle out there. This is all a parable to help you understand what's going on. Now, the halal, I'm going to speak in the Kabbalistic terms. The halal, the void, okay? The halal was created in a circular motion. Not a square, not a rectangle, why a circle? Because a circle is the only thing, ask any architect, that it's even in all sides. Circle, it denotes perfection. Okay? A square has points. Okay? You won't get the light b'hashva'a achat. You won't get it in total equality. God wanted to create this void, and he created it in an amazing way where if you want, wherever you are, you could really perceive him. That means you could be out here, totally away from the middle. You could get his light the same way that you would be all the way in the middle. Wherever you are in the circle, you could perceive Hashem any way you want. And this is the secret where the Gemara says, no matter who you are, you could get to the level of Moshe Rabbeinu. What? Do you know who Moshe was? Moshe, Shet, Hevel, Noach, Neshama Chadasha, Neshama Yeshana. I'm going to be Moshe. You not get what he's trying to say. Wherever you are, you could perceive Hashem the same way Moshe did. Because the halal is what? It's a circular motion. Hashem is telling you, I'm equal to everybody. Don't think I favor Moses over you. It's not true. I love everybody the same. It's a beautiful thing, but I don't want to delve too deep into the concept. Weiter. Ad shenimtza, until we find Olam ha'atzilut, the world of Atzilut, v'kol ha'olamot, and all the worlds, nitunim toch ha'chalal hazeh, they're all inside this void. That means every creation that you know, or that you ever will know, is inside this void. It's inside this void. So all the worlds, like this world is pretty big, right guys? All, and this halal is just a dot in the middle, right? Am I right or no?
Yeah.
And everything is inside this little dot. Everything is inside this little dot. Okay? And this little dot holds the world of Asiyah, the world of Yitzirah, the world of Bri'ah, and the world of Atzilut, and the world we're going to learn that you never heard of called Ak. And in Ak, Aleph Kuf, it's an abbreviation. Inside this halal, all the worlds are inside this halal, this dot. And our job is to reconnect all of them. Because what these 5 worlds really are, this is the tip of the Yud of God's name, this is the actual Yud, this is the Hey of Hashem's name, this is the Vav, and this is the Hey. So our job, we start all the way at the end. We're at the Hey, the last Hey. Our job is to do Bam. Reconnect everything together, and that's the only way to reveal God's light, which is really always there. It's really always there, you just have to find it out. Okay? Weiter, what time is it? 10:10?
10:10, make a wish.
Okay. 9 more minutes, we'll go. And God's light, besides, for all the worlds that's inside, God's light, the Or Ein Sof, is surrounding the Halal. That's called, in Kabbalistic vernacular, Misavev Kol Almin. God surrounds all worlds. That means God surrounds everything. That means at the point that we are right now, besides for our neshama inside of us, we're getting this small trickle of Hashem's infinite light, Shefa, hitting us from all directions. Imagine if you could just see that and harness it.
How you do that?
How you do that? You got to keep the 613 mitzvot all the time. You have to be totally conscious of Hashem all the time. Okay? But you have to understand, guys, and you have to see this as a very big thing. That could you imagine that who would have known in all your gilgulim and stuff like that you would be coming to OTZROT Chaim Shiur? Do you know what kind of dance your neshama is doing in Shamayim right now? Your neshama is doing 360 somersaults over there. He's on a BMX bike and he's flying in the air. He's skiing out up there. Your neshama is going crazy. Okay? But don't forget, hitlahavut is not always healthy. To be too excited is not always healthy. Because then the Satan is going to come with a baseball bat. We don't want to mess with him. He's very scary, okay? Hashem surrounds you. Hashem fills you. Hashem is everywhere. Hashem is everything. You just have to reveal it. You have to reveal it. You know, this past 2 days ago, was some guy passed away in the community. Maybe you guys heard of him. He was a doctor. Dr. Yosef Morad. Dr. Morad. He passed away 2 days ago. And, when do you see how much light the person revealed into this world? Only after the person passes away. And the crazy thing was that my wife bought me his book. He wrote a book 5 years ago. It's called Torah Min HaShamayim. She got it for my birthday. And it's a beautiful book. It's all gematriot, numerical. He's finding Hashem and all the little numbers in the Torah. He counts letters. He finds. He does. He did. Now you might say, like, okay, what's the big deal? It's a book of gematriot. That's what his neshama, that's his shefa that he was getting from the Ein Sof. When he was born, that's what God decreed that he had to do. And so many stories how he used to take patients for free. And I stood over there. This is like you're hearing a story of Alam of Tzaddikim. Mamash. It's like you're hearing a story of a Tzaddik Nistar. And one guy got up there and he said something beautiful. He said, if you would look at this guy, this is how you would imagine a Jew. We don't have sects in Judaism. We're not, I'm Sephardi, I'm Chabad, I'm Yerushalmi, I'm Breslev. If you're doing that, you're mitzamtzem Hashem's light. You're not allowing everything in. You have to allow everything in. Don't be narrow-minded. But all in the confines of the Nikudayim Tzayid, of the midpoint. What's that midpoint? The Torah. You gotta do in the confines of the Torah. You understand? But it's very hard to do. And the battle is all the time. It's all of our lives. It's every second, it's every minute. It's while you're sleeping. Did you know that? It's while you're sleeping it's happening. There is a rabbi who wrote a book from the Torah, Chidushim. He remembered while he was sleeping. While he was sleeping. That's what we have to do. That's our job inside this world. If it's very hard to do, guys. And we have aliyot and yeridot. We fall, we get up. But the most important thing is, you have to remember that, and we're going to learn this, that last second was like a whole different time. I fell a second ago, that was a different me. Yeah. That was a different me. Now, this second that happened right now, I'm a new person. That's it. You gotta live with that idea in your life. You always have to be happy. You have to be Gbali bo b'darchei Hashem. When Shaul HaMelech, King Shaul, when he was chosen to be king, he told Shmuel, Prophet Shmuel, he said, but I'm the youngest of all the Binyamin. My family is the smallest. My family is the small. We're 4 guys. My tribe is the smallest out of the 12 tribes. Who am I to be king? You know what Shmuel told him? You're such a tzaddik. You're so humble. You know what he told him? If you're small in your eyes, you know how big you are in Hashem's eyes? Why are you acting like a humble person? Don't be fake humble. That's how you have to feel every second. You're a Jewish person. You know what you are? You were chosen to reveal Hashem's light into this world. And only you can do that. And you could do it in your house while you're married. And you could do it with your friends. You could do it at work. I'm going to tell you one small thing. I have to share this with you guys. Rabbi Shimon Agassi. He once calculated how many light years there is between each sphera. He did it when he was 17 years old. And I forget the number. And his job, he was a mikubal, huge mikubal. He wrote the book Shem Shimon. Some say it was a nitzotz of Moshe Rabbeinu. And his job, he used to make soap detergent. And he used to sell it in the street. He used to make soap. One day, not Eliyahu Navi, I think it was our Eliyahu Mani, comes to him in a dream and tells him, why are you so sad all the time? What do you mean, why am I sad? Half of the day I'm working in the bazaar, I'm selling soap detergent. He's like, while you're working in the bazaar and fighting your Yetzer Hara in the bazaar, specifically in the bazaar, while in your business dealings, you're going to reach higher levels than you would if you would have spent a week in the yeshiva. Do you know what you're doing when you're overcoming your test over there? And only you could do it. Only you could do it. It's hard. Of course it's hard, especially in the city. I always said New York is Nineveh. In the numbers, it's the same numbers, New York and Nineveh. Yeah. We all know what happened to Nineveh at the end. I don't want to say. Yeah. At the end. People don't know the end story with Nahum. Okay, let's go a couple of more lines. Vor in Sof Makifo. So everything is equal. Don't forget, everything is equal, Rabbi say. When God created the constriction, the first tzimtzum, from one end, from one point of this halal, himshich or, he let out a light. Derech kav echad, through a very tiny pipe. Kav is a pipe, a line. Echad, one, only one line. Yashar, it's straight. Dak, what's dak? It's thin, it's a thin pipe. Ke'ein tzinor echad, like a very small pipe, if you could imagine. Or hanimshach ma'ein sof etor halal hazeh, through this pipe, the whole halal is getting its light.
From that little pipe.
From that little pipe. The whole halal is getting the light of the Ein Sof from that small, thin. You know how thin this pipe is? If you learn Elchot Nida, there is something that in one of the halachot of that shoferet. Exactly. How does Beit Yosef say? Dak shevidakim. It has to be dak. You know dak shevidakim. Back in the days, they couldn't believe what it was. But you know what a telephone pipe is? You know how thin it is. You know what goes through that? Lahavdil elef havdalot. Could you imagine this whole halal? Billions of light years in here. Billions of light years is all getting life from one thin pipe. And if that pipe would have been any more bigger, the whole thing would have turned back to the Or Ein Sof. it would have been a little bit bigger, maybe that's a very big lesson in our life. When you're giving shefa to the ne'etzal, and you're a ma'atzil, and you're giving shefa to the ne'etzal, like to your children, to your workers, sometimes you want to be too nice. If you're too nice sometimes, everything is going to go back to tohu vavohu. That's why Rabbi Yehuda Nasi said to his son Rabban Gamliel when he passed away, Zrok mara betalmidcha. When you have students, throw in them poison. Make them hate you a little bit. It's healthy. Because when you're giving shefas, you have to remember that the Ein Sof is giving HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the Eibishter Hashem. He's giving us his shefa through a shefa that's dak, shebedakim, and how much shefa there is. Each one of us could be a Navi. It's enough shefa to live eternity. Sela. Va'ed. Baruch Adonai le'olam. Amen ve'amen. Rabbi Hanan ben Akashia אומר, הצגות שבזכות אדי זרח, יגדיל תורה